Welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of the Realistic Road to Glory. If you missed the season finale yesterday, go and watch it. Don't spoil yourself. Go and get stuck in. It was a very entertaining episode that had a lot on the line in it. You join us, spoilers are incoming now, in season 2 in a new league. And to be fair, it might be spoiled by the title, not decided yet. We are in League 1 after winning the title in League 2 last year with just a couple of games to go, but now comes the real challenge. Our squad was competitive in League 2 and one of the better teams at the level. We are no longer in that club in this new division. We have money to spend, not masses, but money to spend, players to move out, room to bring players in, and a new addition to the spreadsheet. I know, and this one you're going to be very, very impressed about, as well as the rest of it too. It's such an inclusion that I'm actually going to have to make a new download link. What's that all about, Ches? Well, let's find out in due course, shall we? So, you join me in League 2. No, Season 2 in League 1. We obviously have lost a handful of players at the end of last season, so we currently only have the one goalkeeper. Couple of left-backs, although Morgan Bradbury has peaked at 18 years of age, and, well, most of the squad has peaked at this particular moment in time. Sam Stubbs is back from his loan at Cheltenham last year. He's now one of our joint highest rated players and takes the captain's armband at centre-back. We are looking for a starting goalkeeper, or at least an alternative to Sam Walker. We have a player in mind. We're looking for a starting left back because we want Johnson to be a rotation right back. We're looking for maybe a loanee centre back, but not sure at this moment in time. We should be able to deal with Sam Stubbs and Kieran Kelly as our starting two, with Byrne and Baldwin as backups at this moment in time. With regards to midfield, I'm looking for a starting CDM. We have a player in mind on that front as well. With regards to centre mid spots, we're all right for now, but certainly there is room for improvement longer term. We have starting left mid and right mid in Poynton and Wright, but I am looking for a squad winger, please. That I definitely need your feedback on in the comments section. Squad winger, either permanent or on loan. We have a couple of free agent options that I will show you in due course. At striker, Andy Cook is retiring at the end of the season, so we are lumped with a high earner at £4,950 that is only going to get worse, and we can't get rid of him. I could release him, but it's going to cost me 120 grand to do so. I don't know what to do in that regard. It's probably worth releasing Andy Cook and taking the financial hit now and saving the 5 grand a week. But you guys will have a call on that because I know Andy Cook is a big fan favourite at Bradford. Tyler Smith and Kavanagh are both... Well, Tyler Smith is peaked at 62. Kavanagh can only grow to 63. They're both running out of contract. Neither of them are impressively good and standout options at striker. I'm looking for a loanee striker, please. Not as permanent, because I'm hoping to bring them both to life with dynamic potential. But a loanee striker, please. I have some options on my shortlist and or free agent options as well that I can show you. With regards our financial situation, we are as follows. We have a transfer budget at the beginning of season 2 of £1.9-ish million. A wage budget remaining of £25,000. We can stretch that to £35,000, but obviously that would put us in more financial peril moving forward. The squad tracker is up to date currently. Everybody that was in is, or coming back from loans is back. Everybody that has gone out, whether they be released, retired, or pre-contracted to someone else. So the squad tracker is up to date, and we are hopefully in a position where we can look to sign some new players. Now, whilst we're on the spreadsheet, this is the new addition. You'll notice in the bottom left, the Financial Hub tab. This is another addition by a fan of the channel. Aidie, who's with us live in chat at the moment, who's on the board behind me, who's a member of the Patreon, has created a go-to financial hub for all of your extra details that we've been Googling throughout Season 1. This is what it looks like. Next year, we'll ask Andy to intertwine this with the regular spreadsheet. But this year, we're adding it as an extra. This is the financial hub. I appreciate the font is smaller. So if you're struggling to see this on your phone, do try and watch on PC, or by all means, just download it. I'm going to update the download link so that you can download this and then copy and paste your data from your season 1 and your spend tracker and your squad tracker and your stats dashboard, etc. So you can copy and paste that and pop it into a fresh spreadsheet. So some of this we aren't using, but it may well be of interest to you guys. Most of it we are. Top left is your toggles. That's as it is here in the league position toggles, and on your drop down here in the toggles here, just to remind you what those numbers are. So for the match ticket sale revenue, I've obviously been using just a Google tab to work out my match tickets. You now no longer need to do this. You can do it in the spreadsheet. Our stadium capacity was 25,189 in game, and it automatically will determine 66% of that. Our match tickets, now that we're in a new division, are £25. Not £2,500, Ches, well done. So that will now automatically adjust and create our match ticket sale revenue for each game that we go through. We paid our corporation tax last year. This automatically works this out here, where you put your profit in there, which is what we did from our spend tracker at the top here. And then in the financial hub, it will update with the percentage that you put in there. You can, if you choose, pay your tax in installments. That is an option for you as well if you would like. This is purely for if you'd like to enter your finances monthly. It gives you a monthly total rather than doing it week by week on your spend tracker to tidy it up. But you will still use these figures weekly from in-game. This is for your season ticket revenue determination. These are my figures from Bradford's actual real-life ticket prices last year. We are going to be increasing these as per the save rules. Where are season ticket sales calculated by the club, and each league promotion is a 20% increase in season ticket price. So I now need to increase my season ticket prices here by 20%. The distribution is done on a relatively realistic understanding of the amount of people of the 100% that buy a season ticket that are from each different category. About 50% are full adults, about 20% are 65 plus, 15% for under 18s and for under 12s as well. That will then give you an average season ticket price, which will automatically update. That will then give you your 33% of your season ticket holders from the capacity, and will give you an overall season ticket sales revenue number. You'll add that to your spreadsheet, of course, when it triggers it in-game, and then you could just use this number rather than the one that it gives you in-game. With regards to your travel costs, we work it out as 10%. Obviously, you can do that in your own head most likely, but if you want to change your travel cost percentage, you're not sure what the maths is, then you can change your in-game travel costs here, and it will just tell you what they are. You will still need to enter everything onto your spend tracker. This just helps you figure out what the numbers are. Now, I am not including TV deal money at the moment. If we get to the point where our finances get a little bit skewed and we're just bleeding money left, right and centre, then we will start to include TV money in our finances. If you want to do it now, then you can do so here. These are the current season figures for TV revenue. These are the current season figures for your prize money. Only in the Premier League do you get, or rephrase, only in the Premier League and the Championship do you get different prize money per your league finish. In League 1 and League 2, you get a set fee regardless of where you finish. You also get a solidarity payment from the Premier League, which is here. Obviously, this will change for the Championship depending on where you finish. And then that is your total added. That's for the end of the season. So last year, if I show you on my spend tracker, I think I showed you this in the season finale. We added our League 2 finish prize money and our Premier League solidarity payment, both of which were figured out here. This is your prize money for all of the cup competitions. FAC, FA Cup, FLC, Football League Cup, Carabao Cup, FLT, Football League Trophy. Now, when we get to Europe Aidie, I'm sure, and something I hadn't thought about, Aidie, I'm sure, would add another tab here, another couple of aspects for European competition, or perhaps it'll probably have to be a separate table because of the different rounds, etc. Aidie, something to think about, actually, moving forward. Outside of that, this is just purely for your own, if you would like to keep a tab of who is bringing the most, what games are earning you the most money or having the highest attendance figures. So you could put your visiting opponent in here and the season attendance and then add it, and then the average attendance will show you via opponent, and then average attendance here will work out per season what your average attendance is for all games in that competition. I'm not going to use this currently. I am going to use the match ticket calculator. I am going to use the corporation tax calculator. I am going to use the season ticket finance calculator. At present, we're not going to use the TV broadcast money, but we will use the parachute payment money should we get relegated at any point. If you get relegated from League 2, then you get 115 grand. So Grimsby and Crewe last year, who finished in the bottom two in League 2, would have gotten that. If you get relegated from League 1, if you get relegated to League 2 from League 1, you get 115 grand. If you get relegated to League 1 from the Championship, you get £943,000. If you get relegated from the Premier League to the Championship, then the first season you get 43. The second season you're in the Championship, you get 35. The third season you get 15.8. I am not sure on the rulings around parachute payment money if you get re-promoted within those 3 seasons. I would imagine that if you get re-promoted, you don't get the parachute payment because you're no longer in the Championship. But I will have to double check that, or by all means, Google it yourself. Aidie's just told me in live chat, it stops immediately. So if you are in the Championship, you're relegated, you get the 43,450,000 parachute payment season 1. If you get promoted, rebound straight back to the Premier League, you don't get season 2 and season 3. Confirmed. Thank you, Aidie. That is new. This will be available via the download. With regards to playoff matches, we haven't used it yet. We will do. Wembley Stadium has a capacity of 90,000. Each club that is in the playoff final gets 25% share of the gate receipts. So the match ticket is £41.33. By all means, feel free to Google what the average match ticket is for a playoff final in the Championship, League 1 or League 2. Match attendance, not sure whether you're able to get the match attendance from a playoff final in-game, but you could maybe use real-life playoff finals as a go-to guide if you can't find a figure in-game, and it will give you general sale match ticket information that you can get there to add it to your spreadsheet and your spend tracker. So this is all new. So far this season, we've paid our £500,000 rent on the stadium, which we will be paying for the first 4 seasons, and we have given ourselves the £20,000 participation fee for being in the Football League Trophy. That is where we stand financially. That is where we stand with the spreadsheet. That is where we stand moving forward with the squad tracker and in Season 2 here. So, let me show you the players that are on my shortlist that we may well be looking to bring into the club this season today. And potentially in the future with your feedback here. In goal, I have options of free agent Marco Morosi, free agent Max Crocombe. Morosi was previously at Burton. Crocombe was previously at Plymouth Argyle, both at the level. Bergstrom is available for loan from Chelsea. Wages are expensive, but if we can get him for 50% or less, then it's a cracking deal. He has previously been on loan in League 1 within the last couple of years. It's realistic, it's doable, it's the priority option. There is also Harvey Davies potentially, or Tom King from Wolves. Also Simon Moore at Sunderland, or maybe Scott Bain at Celtic. Dimmy is a longer term option for us. We'd love to bring Dimmy back to the club, or back into a save. But at present, he's too highly rated. My current highest rated player is 66 rated. As per the league, as per the save rules, I cannot sign anyone higher rated than my highest rated player. It worked really well for us in the RTG last year. It's a rule we're sticking with this year, even though some have voiced an opinion that they'd like it changed. It will stay as is for now, until we perhaps find that we're struggling to improve. But It's not a problem. So far, it's worked really well for us in the RTGs that we've done to this point. That is the goalkeeper option. I will try and get Bergstrom in today if finances allow. With regards to the left back, we could potentially look to loan Lucas Stevenson from Liverpool. He's a right back, but has 4-star weak foot, but is obviously quite high on the wages. Then with regards other left back options to potentially buy, there's Nick Sorula at Notts County. I'm going to take your feedback on these left back options. There's Saxon Early at Plymouth Argyle, have just been relegated from the Championship back down to League One. He's only a squad player for them. He doesn't start. That seems like a doer for me. Harry Amask would be a loan option at Aston Villa if you so wish. There is also Emmanuel Longello, who was on loan at Cambridge in League One from Birmingham last year and is also a pretty tasty option. And then a loanee, potentially Adam Montgomery from Celtic, if you might like him to come. There's also Dylan Williams from Burton, could be a purchased player. Not quite as good as some of the others, but still a good option at 21, you would imagine will grow quite well. And then there's George Cox at Swindon in the league below, who looks like he could be pretty decent as well. And of course would absolutely want the step up in division. With regards to the CDM, Collier is here, but I think he's probably more of a championship level player in terms of where he'd realistically move. We have George Abbott from Tottenham, although he's not fantastic. Potential purchases of Owen Bailey, CDM currently at Doncaster in the league below. Could be decent. 90 stamina is unbelievable for the level, so he'd be pretty solid, although technically he's not great. And Namdi Offerbor at Swindon in the league below could be a good option. Physically, he's fantastic. Doesn't have the stamina, but technically is better than Bailey. Then there are a couple of centre mid options that could come in to play in a CDM role. Ben Stevenson we had on loan last year. His contract did get extended at Portsmouth, even though he was running out of contract at the end of last season. We could loan him back. We could buy him if you so desire after being potentially impressed with his performances last year. He's not that expensive. We could get it done. My preference, someone I'm almost certainly going to get, is Jake Doyle-Hayes. 26-year-old, 66 rated centre mid that can play at CDM. He was at Hibs in Scotland, but not playing for them, has been released here. And I think really he has to be signed. So Bergstrom and Doyle-Hayes are two absolute musts for me. They are what I'm going to try and do today. And then the rest is down to you guys in the YouTube comment section with what we do. With regards wide options, we have Micah Hamilton and Alex Gilbert, who we had on loan last year, from Middlesbrough as our parent club. Now, Hamilton would probably want to start. Middlesbrough would probably want him to start. We don't want to drop Tyrek Wright or Bobby Poynton. We want those two to start. So Micah Hamilton would only be a squad player, would probably get recalled, but he is cheaper, loan fee-wise, wage-wise, than Alex Gilbert. But we know that Gilbert can do a job and would be happier being a squad player. There is also Kamari Doyle at Exeter. He's down as a cam, but with stats like that, absolutely, he could be changed to a wing. He's got decent free kick accuracy as well. Only 19 at Exeter. I believe in real life, he's a Brighton player that is on loan at Exeter. In game, it looks like Exeter have purchased him and fulfilled the loan deal, or the game just made him go to Exeter permanently and he should actually be at Brighton. If you think that he should either actually be at Brighton, then I can move him back to Brighton with the live editor and we can look to loan him. Or if you think if he has permanently moved to Exeter in this save after they enjoyed their loan spell, then he probably wouldn't be available to buy now. But I think it's more likely that the game has put him at Exeter without considering the fact that it was just a loan and it's done it permanently. So I could potentially bring Kamari Doyle in if we move him back to Brighton to his parent club, which is the case in real life, and then look to loan him ourselves. That's the option. I'm judging by the fact these wages are 5,300. That says to me that the game has registered him as a permanent Exeter player from the off and not a Premier League level Brighton player, because Premier League players have much higher wages. We have Ethan Chislett, who we could bring in as well, potentially. But again, he would almost certainly want to start, and we're not looking for a starter at this moment in time. But obviously, with the amount of games we play, the amount of rotation there is, we could probably justify having someone of that level, and they would get enough football provided we went far enough in the competitions. Leo Castledine is currently at Shrewsbury, former Chelsea youngster, obviously very, very good. We could look to buy him, but he is expensive. We also have... I don't know if I have any actual winger, right or left winger options. I don't believe I do. With regards to the striking option, let me just double check left winger. With regards to the striking option, there are a number. We do have left winger Danny Mandrieu, but he is more of a centre mid option as a player that can play kind of anywhere in midfield. He's a free agent, could be a great squad player, depending on what wages he wants. We'd bring him in if we move on players like Clark Odor or Patterson, etc. But we're not necessarily looking to do that at this stage. Striker options. I'm looking primarily for a loan. But if we do buy, we have options like Sonny Cox from Exeter, who physically is very good, technically can improve, and he's only 20 years of age. There's the older, more experienced Danilo Orsi at Burton. Physically quite good, technically better than Sonny Cox, but obviously more experienced and older. We have, scrolling up, potential purchase from Crawley, Tyrese John Jules, former Chelsea youngster as well, I believe, has got pace. Crawley just got relegated in the save as well, but they'd want probably quite a bit of money for him. Obviously great physically, technically one of the better options we've got. Freddie Draper, Lincoln are in the save. Freddie Draper's 20 years of age. I don't know if he starts for them or not. Probably, maybe. I don't know. We'd have to look at their squad. Samson Tavide is a physical specimen from Colchester who technically is okay. Again, young, can grow. A free agent in Brandon Hanlon. Used to be at Wickham. Physically very good. Technically not as impressive, but obviously a cheaper option. There's a potential purchase of Tyrese Simpson, who physically, again, pretty impressive. Technically, not so much. Mickey Mellon is a player that has gone on loan to Bradford in real life, but in, obviously, the current season in League 2. He was on loan in League 1 with Stockport last year, so obviously we can justify bringing him in. I might look to do that. He's not as good as some of the other options we've got available to us, but it would be perhaps a realistic thing to do because he's gone to the club IRL, albeit we'd be a season late with it. But wages would be a stumbling block with the budget. And then there's Tyler Walker at 28, would be a cheap pickup, purchase price wise. Physically is all right, technically is all right. He's kind of an alternative option. That is my shortlist. I am going to bring in Lucas Bergstrom on loan from Chelsea, and I'm going to bring in Doyle Hayes as a free agent as well. We are now going to start to have to pay the in-game wages rather than, like the inflated lower league in-game wages, rather than the wages that are more realistic. So now is when the finances start to get a little bit tight, you would imagine. Now is when we anticipate, potentially in a couple of seasons' time, having to factor in the TV money. He'd want Crucial. He would absolutely start. Without any shadow of doubt, we'd have him on a 3 or 4 year deal. We'll go 3, maybe with an extension of 1 year. No release clause is fine by me. I will offer him... George Lapsey's on 8,800, and I believe our highest waged player. I'll offer him 8.5, and we'll see if he'll sign for 8.5. He will sign on 8.5. Yes! That is fantastic. I'm going to go and add him to my spreadsheet, to my squad tracker immediately. Signing 1 at League 1 level through the door. He's in. We can only register a maximum of 3 more players at League 1 level that are over the age, that are 21 or over. So that's something to factor in as well. We are potentially going to be moving some players on. So that is a factor as well that we will have to take into consideration. Bergstrom is over 21, but in Leagues 1 and 2, you don't need to register goalkeepers. So we could sign Bergstrom on loan and not have to register him, regardless of the fact that he's over the age of 21. Now, hopefully... Oh, they want to start at 50-50. Or it's offering me anything. We'll try and negotiate down. The fact that they've come at 60 means they might accept 40. Yes! 40-60 split is perfect for us. That is money saved. And certainly much less than I anticipated having to spend for Bergstrom if he comes in. When that deal hopefully goes through, Lucas Bergstrom will be a Bradford City player and we'll be paying him less than we thought we might have to. Get in. To be fair, Cerula could well be a good wide option. Live chat have just mentioned that he's probably better as a left mid than he is a left back, and I would agree. And he is significantly cheaper than a number of the other wide options we're looking at. So bear that in mind, YouTube, that Nick Cerula might actually be better utilised as a wide man. I wonder what he would actually be rated as a left mid. Now, with a live editor, I can see that because it shows us. So if I go Cerula, I can see that he would actually be a 66 rated left winger or a 65 rated left mid. He's currently a 63 plus 2 rated left back, which makes him 65 overall. He's got potential of 67, so could grow. Cerula might actually be a good option if we're a little bit strapped for cash a little bit later on. I've had 2 bids, apparently. I've made a couple of players available. A loan. Oh, buy. Oh, but it's not realistic for Sarcevic. Where's that from? Football Club Dynamo. Going to reject that for now. We are going to try and get Sarcevic out the door with a realistic bid. If nobody realistic bids for him, then we will just have to suck it up. I'm going to reject that because that's not a realistic loan bid for Wadsworth. New email from the Bradford board. They want mid-table, by the way, this year. Mid-table from the board is the expectation, which is absolutely doable. And that is a realistic bid for Sarcevic. Thank you, Wycombe Wanderers. Yes! We'll try and negotiate to get a little bit more out of them if we can. But I'll be honest, at this stage, probably not going to be able to squeeze much more out of anyone for Sarcevic. They'll play 320 grand, though. That's a bonus. That's nothing more than a bonus. 250 grand is all anyone has bid for him the entire time. And Sarcevic may well be on his way to Wycombe for a fee that will earn us some decent money. And that, I think, is Lucas Bergstrom coming in. He's huge! 6'9" goalkeeper through the door whilst ducking and on only 40% of his wages. Get in, boys! And I believe, because he's a goalkeeper, I don't need to register him. Which I don't. He can play in League 1 and League 2. Hallelujah! Right, that means I now have £8,000 left in my wage budget. But we do obviously have the opportunity to potentially move some of our transfer budget remaining into our wage budget. Also factor in that we're going to get £3,300 added to our wage budget with the sale of Anthony Sarcevic, and 75% of the player sale money will go into our transfer budget as well. So our transfer budget will be boosted to over 2 million when the Sarcevic deal goes through. Oh, so far, so good at the beginning of Season 2, isn't it? This is a bid from Radez Aveyron Football. Sorry, gonna say no continually for now. Role update for Kavanagh, but the most important email we just saw was that there is a bid for Kavanagh. I have transfer listed Callum Kavanagh. I haven't used him that much. He doesn't have great potential. We have alternatives on the shortlist that are similarly aged with better potential and better current quality. It's just an unfortunate nature of football at this level that if you don't get the chance, then you might get churned out. And Callum Kavanagh, I think, is going to get churned out. Wigan is a particularly realistic and relatively local move for him as well. Because I could get up to 430. They've already offered me 450. His potential is only 63. He can only get one rating higher. His current market value is 425 though. So I will ask for 600 here, and Wigan might negotiate a bit. 470 is the best they can offer. Our tension is not quite yet over halfway, so I'll ask for 550. And 550 they will pay. Good. So far, so good at the beginning of Season 2 in the transfer window. And that is Anthony Sarcevic on his way to Wickham, which frees up more money for you guys to make the decision about left-back, about winger, and about striker. Because I've bought in the two that I want to bring in. And to be fair, Sarcevic and Kavanagh are probably the only two that I definitely want to move out for sale, other than youngsters going on loan. So far, we're getting absolutely everything covered and done that we wanted to in episode 1 of season 2. This is going very, very well indeed. And to add to that, here comes the sale of Callum Kavanagh. To have gotten 550 grand for a player that played 5 games last season. That's pretty good going, I think, in all honesty, with options available for similar value that are better, options available for slightly higher value that are significantly better. I think that's a good deal for all parties. That's another one to add to the spreadsheet. Get in. Bye, Callum. So Callum Kavanagh is sold. That now leaves our wage budget at £13,500 and our transfer budget at 2.5 million. We've basically earned 40% of our previous transfer budget with those 2 sales. Now, unsurprisingly, Andy Cook is retiring at 34. He's on £5 a week. That will become available to us next year, unless you guys decide that I should release him to free up that money. We won't release him if we don't need to, but if we find that we need the money, we might negotiate an early end to his career. Jamie Walker, at only 32, after having had a decent season last year, is also retiring at the end of the season, which is a surprise. So that's something to factor in for next year already, knowing that we are going to have a centre mid replacement lined up for next season. We might be able to bring someone in this year, but it all depends on what happens with our league form and with our finances. But so far, so good with this season and the transfers we've been getting. McCall has had an exchange deal. No. This, however, is much more realistic. Burton would like to loan to buy Wadsworth, but that's probably just because the game likes to do loan to buys. I'll try and negotiate a loan for a year, and I'm sure Burton will accept that. It will be a 50-50 wage split. It'll be 100% in-game. It's only because I haven't gone to the effort of actually negotiating it myself, but we do outgoing loans at 50-50. Bradford Board have said, oh, it's the pre-season tournament. That's fine. Is that another offer for Wadsworth? It is. Bristol Rovers. Okay, let's negotiate this one then and see if we can't maybe get proposed loan without buy option. 1 year. Can we negotiate a slightly lower than 50%? I mean, yes, potentially. Will they pay 80% of his wages? They'll pay 80% of his wages. Okay, note to self. Negotiate loan deals rather than just delegate them, because you can save yourself some extra money. It's not going to make a lot of difference, but it's going to make some. Bid for Walker from Dunkirk? No. Loan to buy from Fleetwood for Harry Ibbotson. They failed to get promoted. We will look to negotiate this. We want him to go out on loan. Proposed loan without buy. Again, if they'll pay up to 80% of his wages, it defaults to 60-40, which is weird that when you delegate, it defaults to 0-100. Seems a bit odd. They'll pay 80% of his wages as well. That's fantastic. Burton will have him. Bristol Rovers are negotiating. Let me negotiate this with Burton then a little bit further and try and get them to pay 80% of his wages too. I could try and negotiate. Oh, they want to pay 70-30. 75-25? 75-25. Okay, that's fine by me. Save us a few £100 a week, which at this level could actually make a little bit of difference. Offer received for Pope. We're wanting to loan him out, but I don't think Göteborg in Sweden are the go-to side for him. But someone's going, and that is Wadsworth. But he had an option of a number of different clubs to potentially go to. Gabe, Where you going, pal? Who did you pick? Gabe Wadsworth is off to Bristol Rovers, which I believe are a League One rival. So they will pay 80% of his wages. He's off there for a year. So in the squad tracker, we do it like this. For those that aren't familiar, Wadsworth is going to a playing club, Bristol Rovers, and we will pay 20% of his wages for the rest of this season, meaning we now have 14.3k in our wage budget, and he's registered here as out on loan and us covering 20% of his wages. For some reason, Ben Stevenson is still in here. Ben Stevenson... Why is Ben Stevenson still in? I haven't put Ben Stevenson as end of loan. So that means, actually, we have even more money available that I wasn't aware of because I hadn't taken Ben Stevenson out. That was an oversight on my part. We've got loads of money available in our wage budget. We all missed that. Me and the 100-odd people that are watching live too. That's freed up some extra funds. Now we're even more likely to be able to bring in the amount of and caliber of player that we would like to. No, sorry, Catanzaro, you're not having Barber. Another youngster going out. Harry Ibbotson has agreed contract terms. He is on his way to Fleetwood Town in the league below for 12 months. Again, 25% we negotiated there? No, 80%. And that is him on his way out as well. Fantastic. That is a little bit more money added to our kitty. Fleetwood Town is his destination. And again, we're paying 20% of his wages for the rest of this season. We now have £20,000 available in the wage budget and £2.5 million available to spend. This squad is getting better. It's already improved. And with those finances available, I think you guys are going to be able to offer me the options that are going to make the squad even better. Operation Stay in League One and Don't Get Bleeding Relegated is well underway. Obviously, we can get realistic loan bids for our young players. At the minute, we're having to wait a while for them to come in, though. Pre-season, we just skip. We don't care about pre-season. It's not of any concern to us whatsoever. Sorry, Heracles Almelo, you're not getting him. So we'll just sim our way through pre-season whilst we continue to power towards the first game of the league season, which we won't play today because I want you guys to give me feedback. And now that we've gotten all of those youngsters out, I think that's almost everyone other than the young regens or the young players that came through my own youth setup. I don't necessarily want to go too much further in case some of the free agent options on this list that you guys potentially were keen on, get signed. So I can take the goalkeepers off and I'll do that in my own time. Let's have a look and make sure that some of the free agents that were down here haven't been picked up by someone else, so they're still available. Obviously, Cerula is at a club. Early is at a club, but we've got finances now to be able to buy those guys if you so wish. Anybody moved yet that we had on the shortlist? Even some of those like Collier that might well have gone out on loan somewhere else. At present, no is the answer to that question, which is good news for us. Everybody that was at a club that we saw is still at a club that we saw. Pretty sure Delaney... Oh, no, not Delaney. I was thinking of Brandon. Where are you? Brandon Hanlon is still a free agent and could potentially be signed if you so wished, although there are obviously better options. And Danny Mandrew is also a free agent option as well. So I'm going to call it there for this first episode. There's been a lot of me going, but it's all very important information for you guys to have so that we can make the right call in the transfer window for the next episode. Join me on Monday for episode 2 of season 2. Join me on stream tomorrow, Sunday, where we will be recording it live on Twitch and the YouTube live channel. Come and join me in the moment to see it happen and maybe catch out some of the things that I miss on the spreadsheet, like that Ben Stevenson thing. That's all for me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Like I say, I will update the download link for the commands on stream. I'll put a new fresh download link in the chat as well or in the description, for the new spreadsheet with the current addition from Aidie, which is phenomenal. Thank you again to Aidie for that. Continual thank you to Andy for the spreadsheet in its original form. And thank you to all of you for your continued support on stream, on YouTube, on the Patreon, everywhere. I love you. I'll see you next time.